Welcome back to the show. Now, if you know me well, you know that I love nice things, particularly jewelry. And I'm just so proud to have my friend here who is a very distinguished jewelry maker. She is the founder of Kathymiranda Designs. Please welcome Kathy Straczynski to the show. How you doing, Kathy?
I'm good. Thanks,
Awesome.
Nikki.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Well, it's good to have you.
Nice.
And I have to say that I am so delighted to be sporting one of your beautiful pieces.
Thank you.
Before we go any further, can you just tell me a little bit about what this is? I put
Yeah.
it on and I didn't ask any questions, but now I want to know. What's this?
Of course.
How's it made?
This one here is faceted agate.
Agate.
Yes,
Okay.
faceted agate, but that agate has been colored. The original color was brown and white, but to add a little bit of pizzazz to it has been colored. Purple, your favorite color.
My favorite
I'm learning
color.
now.
Yeah. I love it. And agate is a semi-precious stone.
It's a semi-precious
Okay.
stone. Yes, it's readily available throughout the world, from Africa, Asia, South America. You can have lots of agates.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It
You're
looks great.
welcome.
So let's talk about you. So tell us about your passion for jewelry and how it started and your drive to design. How did that begin?
Oh, wow. That started a long time ago. I realized that after so many people have asked me, I had to dig deep to find out where that actually started. And I realized that when I was 7 years old, I was making jewelry.
Really?
Yeah.
Like for yourself or for your family?
For
Just-
myself and one of my sisters. I started making jewelry from paper,
Paper.
cigarette paper.
From where? Here in Canada? Or?
No, I grew up in the Caribbean,
Caribbean.
In the island of Grenada. And we didn't have anything much. I saw other kids with jewelry, and my mom couldn't afford that. That was like far-fetched. So I used to wait for the older men. They were the only smokers in my village. I used to wait for when they discarded the cigarette paper. Some of the cigarette paper were silver and some were gold. So I made gold and silver earrings, necklaces, but mostly rings and gold teeth.
Wow.
And I thought no one would notice, you know. I thought it looked really good, but it didn't. I also made jewelry from wire, electrical wire. I used to wait for when the man came to change the light poles, and I dug into the wire that's been discarded and realized that there was red, white, and blue wires inside. And so
Potentially, that could be extremely dangerous. And you're just like, no, fearless.
No, I used to wait until they're
used to wait.
finished. So I want to think that if they're leaving it behind,
Yeah.
then it's okay.
It was okay.
Yes. So I use those to make jewelry as well. But that passion had gone away from me as per my childhood. I moved on to other things. But when I came to Canada, a while back in 2005, I was working somewhere where one of my co-workers were making jewelry as just something to pass the time at a clinic where I was working.
Okay.
And they usually found different things to do at that time, crosswords and other things. And then when they came with jewelry, that kind of rekindled some kind of creativity that I had. And when they moved on to something else, I stayed on to jewelry. I started going to the dollar store to get glass, plastic, and whatevers. But I realized those weren't the things I wanted to work with. I wanted to work with finer materials. So I started using semi-precious stones. I started using Swarovski crystals, purchasing sterling silver, brass. And I started making jewelry for the people at my workplace and giving it to them for free.
Wow.
And they decided that they didn't want any more gifts from me because those gifts seemed costly without paying me for it. And they suggested that they would pay for whatever I'm going to give to them. So I started charging them $5 for anything they wanted. That's how the business started.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, $5 for anything. And one day, one of the patients at the clinic said to me, we're having a reunion. Would you like to have a table? I'll give it to you for free. That was my first opportunity to make pieces and sell it to the public. That was 2005. 2005 until 2014, I created probably over 300 designs. Wow. And
very prolific.
Yeah, thanks. And so I decided to travel throughout Ontario from Sarnia to like Ottawa. I traveled around selling to around 14 within 14 malls as part of craft shows, maybe 1 week at a time or 2 weeks. I've been to City Hall, Metro Hall, all the civic centers around, and many festivals here in Toronto to sell my work.
So your hobby blossomed into
a business,
a full-time business.
Yes.
I love how that happens.
Yeah.
And you went back to school, right, to refine your
Yes, I did.
Your talent?
So what I realized back in 2014, after I'd have traveled around and sold quite a bit of stuff, there were a few customers who started asking for something that was custom made, and I had no idea how I can create the styles that they wanted. And as I inquired around, quite a lot of people were suggesting that George Brown College would be the best place to study jewelry design. And so I enrolled in the jewelry arts program there in 2014. And in June 2018, I graduated as a goldsmith.
Ooh.
Yes, during my time at George Brown, I learned how to create jewelry using contemporary as well as traditional designs in jewelry making.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
Now, how long did it take you
I did my course in 4 years.
4 years.
Yes,
Okay.
in 4 years.
All
It
right.
was very intense, and but I found it very rewarding as well.
Okay. So let's talk about what the beauties before us here. Some stunning pieces.
Thank
Naturally, my eye falls to the center here. So can you describe what this piece is? And
Sure. This piece here is it's handmade.
Oh, wow.
My inspiration for this was, the original design would have been my thesis for graduation, which I called Caribbean Rain. So pretty much what I did, the sterling silver pieces were all textured to look like raindrops in the original design.
Okay, I do see that.
Yeah. And I wanted to create curvature and something in the center that looks like a raindrop on the ground with the water extending.
And a little bit of movement, so that's,
and movement
reflective
as well.
of falling. Yeah.
Yes. And I wanted it to be a bold piece. I feel that jewelry isn't necessarily needed. It's a want. And it's an embellishment, so why shouldn't it be bold?
Yeah, it's art, it's beautiful.
So lots of my pieces are a bit bold, and so that's what I did in this piece here.
Okay, what about this one?
This one here, there are elements from the same design to create curvature for that piece. However, I love working with colors as well. The accent piece is Swarovski crystal. Okay. Over the period of time as I created my jewelry, I had a contract with Swarovski so that I can have authentic Swarovski pieces that I can incorporate in my work. I felt that it creates bit of pizzazz. So that's what I used here. This piece here has several colors in it, so it could be worn with many different things. Yeah.
And then this one in the center?
The centerpiece here, That's a piece I showcased for, it was a project at school also, but I showcased it as my thesis, part of my thesis. The design has a combination of sterling silver, 14 karat gold, and the stone is the star was the name of the project. Okay. So I wanted it to be bold as well. And this stone is ocean jasper.
Ocean jasper.
Yes.
Okay.
And because it's ocean jasper, I particularly chose that stone because of the movement, the color, and everything that's in there. On this side, I have a collection of earrings. Some are made with different level of hardness, in terms of techniques.
Okay.
But the one that I felt most happy about is this piece, for which I crocheted micro steel wire and then roller printed it onto the sterling silver to create the texture.
Mind blown. Crocheted, and then you did something?
Roller printing.
Roller printed.
Yeah.
And then that was
to
the
create
outcome.
Texture.
So how long did something like that take you to
This one here
produce?
took me about 3 hours to get the design concept together, but about a day to like finish it up.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
And the thing is I like about you is that you're everywhere. I see you at so many different events and festivals, and you always have such a very warm and inviting demeanor. And I'm sure you met some really wonderful people along the way. And I saw you at the Harry Jerome's the other day with some really amazing people. So what's next for you? You're going to be going out. Do you ever see yourself teaching? Have you thought about that?
I have thought about it. In fact, while I was at school, I did mention to my professors that's something that I would like to do, because I think that especially young women or young people in general should be empowered to create as well as use the opportunity to be entrepreneurial, right? Mm-hmm. So I would like to teach a craft that I've learned, but also too, I would want to incorporate entrepreneurship in that in that area too. I have spoken to a few organizations who foster youths as well, and I'm in talks with a few of them to actually go in and do a few day classes.
That's excellent.
In regards to
especially where entrepreneurism is concerned, because not everyone is academically driven, or not everyone is set up to do a career. They're just born bosses. They just start their own businesses. So it's good to have someone to mentor to them what that would look like, and maybe some of the values or certain skills they need to have to set that up. So it's good. What you're offering.
I would love to be part of an organization that would allow me to speak to the young ones.
That's fantastic. This is beautiful work.
Thank you so much.
And I appreciate your time and sharing a little bit of your art with us.
Thank
so
you.
where can we go online to see more of your work?
Presently, my website is under construction. However, you can view my work on Instagram. Yeah. It's Kathymiranda Designs _Toronto. I am also on Facebook, Kathymiranda or Kathymiranda Designs. Also Pinterest. I know many people do not use Pinterest at the moment, but I do have quite a lot of my past work as well as present work on Pinterest. So it's going to be Kathymiranda Designs Jewellery.
Okay. Awesome. Kathy, it's been a pleasure.
It's a pleasure as well.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for beautifying the studio with your work.
Oh, thank you. Thanks very much.
My pleasure. Kathy Straczynski. Check out her work online, Kathymiranda Designs. We'll be back.
The Nikki Clarke Show, transforming lives one story at a time. If you would like to be a guest or become a part of our live studio audience or even to become a sponsor, just go to www.NikkiClarkeNetwork.com.